Morning. Let's first of all, let's kind of pray ourselves into this service here, and let's clear our minds and hearts, and let's kind of get into the flow of things today, because, I don't know, I mean, the weather is dreary, yeah, but, you know, our spirits should never be dreary. You know what I'm saying? We should kind of get in tune to what we're doing and what we're about to do. And matter of fact, I don't know about y'all, but I'm just so glad to be blessed today, blessed, and God woke me up today. You know, he set me on a path. Now, throughout the day, I'm going to constantly ask him, what is it, what that path is, because I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? I may have a little idea of maybe what I want to do, you know, but it might not be in tune with what he would have me do. So I can ask him every step of the way, God, what is it that you would have me do? You know, how is it that I need to approach this? You know, and in doing that, I think in my mind and my heart, I'm being obedient in that I ask first before I start doing stuff and stepping off into everything. And so with that in mind, I'm going to ask Elder Hackett to pray us into this service. Amen.
Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, let us all decrease and you increase in the name of Jesus. Let your holy anointing fall afresh upon this service all over this land. In the name of Jesus, have your way, Lord Father. In Jesus' name, anything you have us to do, let us do it in spirit, mind, body, and soul. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. This morning we got a real special treat this morning. Sister Jamilla has been asked to enlighten us, you know, with truth, knowledge, and education. Education on a level that only comes from the Most High, you know. And a lot of times we get into service, and service is actually what we do outside of these walls. That's actual service, you know. But inside of these walls, we're supposed to get our marching orders in order to do what we're supposed to do out there. So a lot of times I think we get it a little confused and say church service. No, this is praise and worship and education in here. And then from that point we go out and we actually apply what we learned and what we're supposed to do. Yeah, this morning I want to thank you, Keith, for coming by, man, and welcome you, my brother. You know, these doors are always open to you, man. You know, always, you know, and like I said, from right here, we get it from the truth. There's no hearsay this way and that way, you know, because if it's not biblically based, you know, and grounded in this Christ thing that we do, then it's really not worth the effort. You know, I'd stay home, I'd stay in bed, or I'd find some other things to do. But that's how it's done here, you know. With that said, I'd like to, are you ready, sister? Or you wanna hang out for a minute, or are you ready, or it's up to you now. No, I mean, if you ain't ready, get ready. And when you get ready, stay ready. So if you like a little bit more time, then we can do a little music and relax. And I mean, it's up to you. I don't want to put you on the spot because I want you comfortable in doing what you do. You know, my suggestion, if you want my suggestion, is you launch into it and you just go for it. You know, the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel with doing it, you know. And so right now we have a little intimate setting right here, and it may help you, or it might you might just want to cry out. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna bring her up. Our sister Jamilla Kennedy, and she's let's give her a clap. Give her a round of applause. Definitely. Yeah, I got them turned up this time, so I'm gonna have to stick it right here in my face.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to welcome everybody in and giving me the opportunity to speak before you all.
Amen.
I've been in study for the past 2 years, and God has, continued to bless me and guide me on my path. So this is actually my first time standing before you all, but I wanted to start out in the book of Genesis. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and the earth was without form. And so we all know what form is, without shape.
Amen.
And void, empty space, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Amen.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Amen.
And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament. And this is where it gets deep at. Because all our lives we've been taught that this world is round. To come to find out that this world is not round. It's described in the Bible that it's flat. And in the beginning, he tells you there was a firmament.
Amen.
And what is a firmament? Firmament is it's hard. Firm means hard. So he says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So now we see that he gives you a more description of what the earth looks like. You have now a firmament. So now he said, let it divide the waters from the waters. So up here you have waters, which they call heaven. And then down here you have water, which is below the earth. And in the middle you have the earth. Then you have the firmament. And it gets real deep here.
Come on now.
And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So now, to get you a better visual, you have the firmament, which is here. So up here is what he calls heaven.
Amen.
Down here is the earth. And God called the firmament heaven, and in the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together onto one place. And let the dry land appear. And it was so. So now in the beginning, he tells you the earth was formed and without void. It was empty. So when he began to make the earth, he tells you clearly there was a firmament, and he separated the waters. So in the firmament, you sort of take the, remember the little thing we used to shake around and shake. That's what the earth looks like. They put it in your face and you don't even realize that, hey, there's your flat earth and there's your firmament. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called seas. And God saw it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit of the tree yield fruit. And after his kind, whose seed in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself. After his kind, and God saw it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, let there be light in the firmament. So here it goes again. So he said, let there be light in the firmament. Now remember, you have the firmament. And so all your life you've been told that the sun is outside of the firmament, which is actuality. So you got the firmament, and the sun is inside the firmament because he describes it in the Bible. So although all your life you've been taught that that sun is millions and zillions of miles away, that sun is inside the firmament.
Amen.
And God said, let there be light in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and years. So you have the sun which sits inside the firmament. And they always tell you, it's crazy, because they always tell you they went out of space. How do you go out of space if the sun is inside the firmament?
Teach.
No such thing. You can't go out of space, because you know why? Because you have the firmament, which is hard. So there's nothing can go outside of that firmament. So you have flat earth, you have the sun inside the earth, but then man tells you all the time that they went outside in space. No way. No way, because he already told you in the book of Genesis that he divided the waters. And God made two great lights. The great light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Now what's the lesser light? That's the moon. Right there in Genesis it tells you the sun and the moon is both inside the firmament. But all your life you've been told it sits outside the firmament, but they probably didn't tell you that the firmament is hard. Nothing can leave this atmosphere. Nothing. But all your life you've been told that man done went outside and discovered the moon and walked on the moon. But guess what? They can't leave the firmament. You can't go but so high in the sky until you crystallize and come back down. So there's no such thing as man going outside of the firmament because God told you. He divided the waters. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth, and open the firmament of the heaven. He said, open the firmament of the heaven. So that right there tells you that the firmament has windows. There's 12 windows. And those are the windows when they tell you it will, how he had flooded the earth. Those are the 12 windows. And the only way the earth had been flooded because it was a firmament. If it wasn't no firmament, then there's no way that the earth would have flooded.
Come on now.
The fourth assembly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw it, and it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the sea, and let the fowl multiply. So right there it goes again, it tells you that he, in the beginning, he sending creatures and stuff like that, and everybody's going to multiply, and it's within the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day, and God said, let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth after his kind. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind. He said he made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle and after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image. Let us make man in our image. Who was God speaking to?
Come on now.
He was talking to somebody.
Come on now.
Because he said, we're going to make man in our image. There wasn't no man here. Because only thing he developed, only thing he created so far was the animals and the birds and living creatures of the sea. But God is speaking to somebody. God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and every creeping thing on the earth. Who was God speaking to?
Amen.
He was speaking to somebody. He was speaking to somebody.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In the beginning it was the Word. And the Word was with God.
Come on now.
And the Word was God.
Bring it on home.
The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him. John chapter 1, verse 1 through 3. These verses were properly understood and confirmed and expand upon the conclusion reached in the last section. God was speaking to somebody.
Come on now.
So if he was speaking to somebody, in the beginning it was the Word. What is the Word? What does the Word mean to you? What does the Word mean to you? Can anybody tell me what the Word means to you? He was speaking to somebody, because over here he says that let us make man. So he was speaking to somebody. Word, the Spirit. So in the beginning it was the Word. So when he was speaking to somebody, who was he speaking to?
Come on now. Teach.
He said the Word. Word is the Spirit. The Word existed in the beginning. The Word was both present with the Father before creation, and the Word was God. And in his own right, the same one was present with the Father. God in the beginning, the Word Jesus Christ. Who was he talking to? Who was he talking to? We didn't get to know Jesus till after Noah. But in the beginning, he said we're going to make man in our own image. So if he was saying we're going to make man in our own image, we got to know what these words mean. There's a bunch of words in the Bible, but you got to understand what the word means. The word is the spirit.
Come on now. Come on now.
First, we focus on the term word. In the beginning was the word. The most important thing to know about this word is found in verses 14. The word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory, and glory as the only Son from the Father.
Amen.
So do we know who the Word is?
Come on now.
The Word is the Spirit. And who is the Spirit?
Come on now.
The Spirit is God.
Amen. Amen.
The Word refers to Jesus Christ. Wisdom, defined. The biblical sense of wisdom is the ability to judge correctly and to follow the best course of action.
Come on now.
So now we say we have, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. Amen. So he was speaking to someone. And the Word became flesh. When that Word became flesh, who was it? It was Christ. Amen. So to get the understanding of the Bible, you got to know who God is speaking to, what the Word is, what wisdom is, and what knowledge is. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed to you, it shall be for me. And to every beast of the earth, to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for me. We're going to go on into Genesis chapter 2. Thus, the heavens, Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Thus, the heavens and the earth were finished. Right there, he finished making the world. Did that describe that the world was round? Or did it describe that the world was flat? He told you there's no way you can put a firmament around world. It has to have something to sit on. And what does it sit on? It says that he had 4 pillars that this earth sits on. But for some odd reason, we think that this world is round, and it's not round. That's because that's what we've been taught. You have to remember, Satan has deceived the whole world, this whole world, by one twisting all his words and let you think that this world was round and not flat. We have to remember who the creator is. Come on now. Satan's not the creator. He's an imitator, but he can't create. But he can duplicate, but he cannot create. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day. Oh, okay. He rested on the 7th day. So if he rested on the 7th day, what's the first day of the week?
Sunday.
And he rested on what day?
Saturday.
On Saturday. But again, he said that the devil will deceive the whole world. And with that being said, the devil, one of the ways that he deceived is that he changed the days. He made the Sunday the Sabbath day, and Saturday he took away. So, in order to follow God's law, statutes, and commandments, we have to keep the Sabbath day. Amen. Sabbath day is a Saturday. The first day is Sunday. So if he rested on that 7th day, please know that that day was Saturday, not Sunday. Amen. And so when we think Sunday, when I think Sunday is, when I think Sunday, that's Satan's day. Now, I know we all been taught, and I know y'all probably look and say, oh, okay, what is this girl talking about? But Sunday is not the Sabbath day. It's not. That's not the holy day. The holy day is Saturday. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work. He rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens of the earth when they were created in the day of the Lord. God made the earth and the heavens, and every plant and field before it was in the earth, and every herb and field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, there was not man to till the ground. No one was there to till the ground. But there went upon a mist from the earth, watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So it goes back to, he was talking to someone, and he said, let us make man in our own image. And we got to remember who he was talking to, because in the beginning it was the Word, and the Word became flesh, became spirit, and the spirit became flesh. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. This is where it really gets good right here. So it's crazy because I read this book over and over and over. Then I couldn't quite understand. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So he formed him and put him in the Garden of Eden. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant in his sight, good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So now I always wonder, where is the Garden of Eden? They never tell us that neither, huh? What part of this earth we never visit? No human being touch. Antarctica. On the other side of Antarctica, you'll find the Garden of Eden. You'll find the Garden of Eden, because when he banned them from the Garden of Eden, they couldn't go back. They couldn't go back. So you always, nowadays, you know that you still can't go back. You know that nowadays when people visit Antarctica, it's only the elite people. They never tell you about the other side of Antarctica. It was I can't think of the guy named, military guy, that accidentally went over to the other side of Antarctica and realized that you have other beings living there, which they call the Anunnaki. But the Garden of Eden still exists, and it's still there, untouched by man. Nobody never goes there. And the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. In the back of your Bible, you'll see this. You'll see the Garden of Eden. You'll see how those waters was divided. There's a map. I don't know if it's in every Bible, but there's a map that actually show you how those waters was divided and how those waters began to go into for the garden and stuff. And the name of the first is it Pison or Pison? That is which compassed the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is a Bethlehem and the oxen stone. The name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. The name of the third river is Hiddekel, and that is which goeth towards the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. And the Lord God commanded them